I know that it is very odd indeed to see a woman standing at the altar, but I suggest to you that it is odd to see a woman standing at the altar and preaching a sermon.
Hi, I'm Lori Flanagan-Heggie. I'm Artistic Associate at the History Theater in St. Paul, and we're producing Gloria, A Life by Emily Mann, about the life of Gloria Steinem as the first show in our season. And as it happens, Gloria Steinem has been in the Twin Cities quite a bit in her life. And there's a rather famous story about Gloria coming to St. Joan of Arc Church in South Minneapolis in the 1970s. And when I heard this, I thought, oh, wouldn't it be fun to connect with some people who were there that day. So today I'm sitting down with LeRoy Vague, who was the song leader at St. Joan of Arc in the era that Gloria came, and was there the mass that Gloria spoke, and then the week after when there was a huge protest, and the week after that. And we've had a really great conversation today about what it was like to be here when Gloria came to town.
When I first heard about this invitation, I had a vision that was the usual vision of what a church is like. And while I confess that I had momentary delight at the thought of defiling the altar, as women as women are not supposed even to be altar boys in most circumstances, nonetheless, I was greatly relieved to see this place and to understand that, as Cesar Chavez has said, there are two churches, one church of the people and one church of buildings, and this is the church of the people.
So what was your first clue that Gloria Steinem was going to be controversial at Joan of Arc?
Yeah, I got here at my usual time setting up, and there were folks out front kneeling. Oh, and they had posters. You know, they were walking around with posters showing the pictures, fetuses, and whatever. And I thought, well, something's going on here that rather more than just a speaker. We had a huge crowd. We always do though.
Right.
It was always standing.
So it wasn't unusual to have a huge crowd, but how was she received then by the members of the parish?
Oh, it was great. I mean, absolutely great. And my daughter, Stephanie, was really taken. She was 7 going on 8. Mm-hmm. And during the week, she had her friends over playing games. They were all dressed up like princesses, all this crown, this and that. And she had a bunch of books and big glasses on. And so Sharon asked her, who are you? She said, I'm Gloria Steinem, 7 years old. So it had that kind of impact on Steffi.
That's great.
The sin of women was our sexuality. The fear of the, quote, uncontrolled sexuality of women. That is, the fear that we would take back our bodies, that we would seize the means of reproduction, if you will, which is our own bodies, that we would again restore a natural power balance and become ourselves and take back ourselves. That was the fear. And that is still the fear. And today, in our elections, in your elections, in all of our lives, we see people who are so addicted to the authoritarian system in which women were controlled as the means of production, and only the male church or state or family or tribe could make the decision of whether she could or could not have children. That the clinging to that old power structure is the cause of an enormous backlash that we see today.
It's very personable, and she wasn't worried at all about, well, controversy or whatever. If she lived that, I mean, it wasn't any big surprise to her.
Yeah.
It was the following week that it was more disruptive, though.
So what happened?
People had gotten the word, and of course
Yeah, you brought this paper, so...
Yeah.
Steinem's sermon like abortion pep fest. Did you think her sermon was an abortion pep fest?
No,
Is that how you recall
I
it?
didn't. It was she never mentioned the word, of course.
She didn't.
Never mentioned abortion or unborn or pregnancy. She never mentioned anything about that. She talked about women. Well, she didn't talk about women taking control of their own bodies, and women do not have to be subjective to men's rules. But the next week, the protesters came out en masse, and they were kneeling in front of the doors.
Were they trying to block people from coming into church?
That's what it seemed like, yeah.
But we can have no power as women until we control ourselves. How can we have any power from the skin out until we have power and choice from the skin in? We will defend always. We will always defend the right of every woman and of every man to reproductive freedom. We will defend the reproductive freedom of those individuals who oppose us. We defend their right to make their own choice. We only ask that they do not impose their choice on us.
It wasn't going to be just the Sunday sermon based on particular scriptural reading for that day. It was going to be something, if something happened in the world that needed to be discussed, it would be discussed, and it would be discussed right at that time. I thought it was fun. It was exciting to go to church every Sunday.
Our brains could be transplanted into your heads. Our hearts could be transplanted into your bodies. The head and the heart has no gender. That is what the human being is, and yet we are trapped in bodies that are condemned as inferior when once they were gods. So I salute the God in you. I salute the goddess in you. And I hope that soon these institutions of ours will begin to see that there is indeed a full, whole person in each of us struggling to be set free. Thank you.